So why is everyone talking about this? The Asus Zephrus G14 2024 model. Well, because it's almost the perfect laptop. And it is also one of the first Windows laptops that are actually able to compete with the MacBook Pros. So I went ahead and I purchased my own model so I can test it and find out if the hype is real. My specific model came with the AMD Ryzen 9 8945HS as the processor. The graphics card is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 at 90 watts. The display is a 14-inch 3K OLED display with 120 Hz of refresh rate. And this specific model comes with 16 GB of RAM and 1 TB of storage. The build quality on this thing is amazing. I'm talking about Apple-like build quality. It is almost entirely made with CNC aluminum, and that makes it very strong. When I put normal typing pressure on the keyboard, there is literally no flex on the keyboard deck. I would need to put a lot of pressure to see any type of flexing, and even then, it is very minimal. At the top of the laptop, there is some level of flex, but I have not seen any other laptop that doesn't have at least some flex at the top. The laptop weighs only 1.5 kilograms, and that makes it really good to commute with. I take this regularly on work trips, where I'm doing some work on the train, and it's almost like it's not there. I also put it on my lap a lot, on the couch, and it's really nice to have a laptop that doesn't hold you back when you're trying to put it on your lap and do some work. So if you're a person that commutes a lot, you're going to love this one. I really like the keyboard of this laptop. The keys are 12% larger than last year's model, and I don't think I've once pressed the wrong key on this keyboard. The keys are very decently sized, making it unlikely that you press the wrong key. I also like the key travel. It isn't overly soft or hard, just in that sweet spot of key travel. I was not sure about the 4 customizable keys at the top of the laptop first, because they take away from the symmetry of the keyboard design, but after using them for a while, I'm happy that they are there. It is really easy to bring up Armoury Crate with a click of a button, or change the volume without needing to press the FN key. You can also program these to anything you would want them to do, which I think a lot of programmers would appreciate. Overall, I'm really happy with this keyboard layout. Maybe the biggest surprise of this laptop for me were the speakers. There are 4 total speakers, 2 of them facing down and 4 on the top. I heard that they were good from watching some reviews, but I did not think they would be this good. The sound has good depth, it gets very loud, they match up well against my fiance's MacBook Pro 14, and that's a big achievement for a Windows laptop. Take a listen for yourself. I really enjoy the speakers when I'm watching YouTube videos, playing video games, and I sometimes play songs on it and I can hear it at any distance in the house, which is very impressive. The default control software that this laptop comes with is called Armoury Crate. It works well, but I found that it uses too much RAM and it had too many useless features for me. So I tried something more simple called G-Helper. G-Helper is not officially supported by Asus. It's more like a third-party software. I was able to program it where the Armoury Crate used to be. And for me, it has all the features that Armoury Crate had, minus all the useless features that I didn't need. And it also uses less RAM, which is good for me. In G-Helper, you can do almost anything, like setting the different power modes and customizing the fan levels to your liking. The port selection on this laptop is almost perfect, which is really impressive to say for a chassis this small. On the left side, there's a charging port, which is very small, a HDMI 2.1 port, 40 gigabit per second USB-C port, a USB-A 3.2, and a headphone jack plus mic combo. On the right side, there is a USB-C DisplayPort with 10 gigabit per second speed, another USB-A 3.2, and a micro SD card slot. The ports are also pushed back to the top of the laptop, which means they won't get in your way when you're using the mouse. The only improvement I would make to the port selection is to have a full-sized SD card slot instead of the micro SD card slot, but I think they couldn't find the space to fit that in. Other than that, the port selection is perfect. Something that's very important for Windows laptops to improve on is battery life, because traditionally 99.9% of Windows laptops are really bad at staying alive and giving you a good solid 10 hours of battery life, which all MacBook Pros have been able to do. And I'm happy to say that the battery life is good here. In silent mode with the GPU turned off, I'm getting around 6 to 7 hours of regular use, depending on what I do with the laptop. That has been enough for me, but it might not last you the whole day if you use it more than 7 hours. If you want to get more out of the laptop, you can set the refresh rate to 60 Hz, but that takes away from the smoothness of the laptop, so it takes away from the experience for me. That's not something that I would do. If you're just watching Netflix or any other streaming platform, you can get more than 10 hours of battery life if you set the refresh rate to 60 Hz and you turn down the brightness to 50%. While gaming on battery, you can expect more than 2 hours with the AMD GPU or 1 hour with the NVIDIA GPU. So no, this is not a good gaming machine on battery mode, which is a little bit disappointing for me. But to be honest, because this is a Windows laptop and we're not used to seeing good battery life, I'm happy that this is at least good enough. So now let's talk about performance. Over the weekend, I took this on a trip and I used it for browsing the web, script writing, and some video and photo editing as well. And I am very impressed with it. Even on silent mode with the GPU disabled, the laptop ran very smoothly. I never experienced any stuttering or lag, which is surprising actually. The fans were always very low or off. The CPU ran around 40 degrees. As for battery performance versus plugged-in performance, it's really surprising that the CPU doesn't take much of a hit when you unplug the laptop, as long as it's on the same performance setting, but the GPU does take a big hit when you unplug the laptop. So if you're doing any CPU tasks, this can be unplugged and you're still going to get really good performance, but if you're doing GPU intensive tasks, this will need to be plugged in. When it came to gaming, I tested this in multiple different titles and I recorded the FPS and the settings that I used right next to them, so you can get an idea of what kind of FPS you can get with this 4060 at 90 watts. Overall, the performance of this laptop is really good for people who are just casual gamers. If you want the absolute best performance you can get in gaming, I would not get this specifically, because this laptop focuses more on quality of life features rather than performance alone. Even the 2023 model of this laptop will perform better than this laptop with the same specs. But I will personally be only using this for some casual gaming, and for me, the 4060 and the 90 watts it comes with is sufficient for that. Something about this laptop that I have mixed feelings about is the thermals, especially at the bottom of the laptop. When using it in silent mode, doing almost anything from web browsing to photo editing, it stays very cool and warm at best, which is very impressive. However, as soon as you do anything graphically demanding, it gets very hot at the bottom and you cannot put it on your lap. The good news is if you put it on a desk, the keyboard area stays very cool to the touch, so you won't feel any of that heat. But the bad news is if you're someone that likes to do graphically intense things on your lap, with your laptop, this is not the right laptop for you, because it will get uncomfortably hot where you don't want it on your lap. So if that's a deal breaker, I would suggest you look somewhere else. So in conclusion, I think that this laptop is for people who want nice quality of life features, like a good battery life, possibly the best screen on a laptop, a great typing experience, premium build quality, and awesome speakers, all in a light frame which makes it very portable. Where this laptop is let down a little bit is the performance and the thermals. It will perform slightly worse than laptops with the same specifications and run a little hotter because of the smaller chassis. This is not a laptop you're going to be able to put on your lap and enjoy playing video games, because it will get uncomfortably hot. If you're okay with that slight compromise, which I am, and are willing to pay a premium for the premium features that this laptop has, then this is the laptop for you. However, if you're someone that wants to get the best performance for your money, this is not the laptop for you. Finally, I know that a lot of people are scared of getting this specific model with the 16 gigabytes of RAM, but it was personally not a problem for me. If you manage your memory allocations well, then it's not going to be a problem. Don't be scared. But I will agree that 16 gigabytes for this amount of money is a bit of a joke. If you enjoyed this video or learned anything from it, please do like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Thank you.